With great admiration and deep gratitude, I'd like to call up to the podium the granddaughter of our namesake, herself, a past recipient of the Dwight D. Eisenhower Medal for Leadership and Service, our trustee, my friend Susan Eisenhower.
Well, thank you very much, George, for that wonderful introduction. I have to say this has been a very emotional evening for me in so many ways. I am deeply moved by everything that's been said, and for some reason I kind of feel Dwight Eisenhower's presence in this room. There's something about the fact during a domestic and international set of crises at the moment that we've come together on this particular evening and felt a kind of bond, a kind of closeness, that we are taking an optimistic road at a time when people are deeply fearful. I would support the very idea that this organization has never been more important. And may I just say that I thought it was extraordinary, our three awardees this evening, and that is, of course, our distinguished fellow awardees, and David Rubenstein for accepting the Medal for Leadership and Service. I think it's an extraordinary thing that a man of this stature has been awarded here. I can think of no one who deserves this award more than David Rubenstein. I'll say more about that in a minute. I must say, as we were hearing, by the way, a completely wonderful analysis of falling in love with Dwight Eisenhower, I was thinking that how good my grandfather was at coming up with funny aphorisms. One is, that keeps coming to my mind, let's not make our mistakes in a hurry. He deeply, yes, I wanted to write an op-ed on that subject, but thought perhaps now is not the time. And also, I could go through a whole list of them, but he also would say, that there's no such thing as an indispensable man. I would like to submit tonight that no, maybe there's no such thing as an indispensable man, and there's maybe no such thing as an indispensable organization, but there is something about the indispensable set of values that bring us all together and activate our deepest feelings to make the world a better place. Well, I'd like to add a few more things about Dwight Eisenhower's attitude, if it's okay, and I think this is really not well known at all, but I was there for his deathbed wishes. And I don't know why that came to me sometime over dinner to mention this, but he told his family, there's no need to worry about a memorial, there's no need to worry about any recognition or any renamings. He said, I have only one wish, and that is that you get the archives open at the Eisenhower Library. I want everything that can be declassified to be declassified. I want the American public to see everything from my administration that the government allows them to see, because I want them to know what I did in their name. And he said, warts and all, because he believed deeply in, as a leadership approach, the transparency is at the heart of great leadership. Transparency is the foundation of trust. So I would like to say that of the organization's huge benefits that have accrued to our country and to the other countries of the world through this program, that it fit Eisenhower to a T. I'm not sure how many of you realize that I'm sure he's probably the only president who lived twice in Europe, who lived in Latin America, and also lived in Asia. And there's no question that he brought that perspective, that color to his palette, to the paintings he did, and to the way he looked at life. As a matter of fact, if you read Eisenhower's diaries, they're full of two words, usually in commenting on the virtues of someone he might meet. Imagination. He always noted people with an imagination, and the word creativity is used a considerable amount. And I think those words were important to him because imagination is also a function of empathy, whether it is sympathy or whether it is strategic empathy, to try and put yourself in someone else's position, and that is what this organization does. I know, because I heard some of the most moving comments ever from the fellows tonight, that you will never look at a situation again the same way. And this is the foundation of imagination that he talked about so much. So let me also say, and having written actually 2 books on the Eisenhowers, and I tend to do that every time I get fatigued by the subject that is actually front and center in my life. I'm talking about professional considerations, like working on tough issues like arms control and energy. I would say there are 3 things I'd like to leave you with that were fundamental principles to him, that our country and the world desperately needs. And those are what I'm going to call the 3 R's. Reflection, time for reflection, restraint, and resolve. Resolve to put something bigger than your own self and work towards the fulfillment of that. Serve something bigger than yourself. And then finally, just back to the indispensable thing, I have to say, in closing, that I think the job this organization does, thank you very much, Secretary Gates, for your continuing leadership, and the extraordinary work of George DeLama and the entire staff. You are working hard to make this organization as indispensable as an organization can be for the furtherance of the values that we hold dear. And let me also say, David Rubenstein, modest David Rubenstein, I can't imagine Washington, D.C., or higher ed, or the nation's cultural treasures, or the association with making history come alive for Americans. I can't imagine what that would be if not for you. Thank you very much.